Good afternoon. It's Thursday, the 29th of July. It is a nice. It's a nice day. It's bright, warm. There's a cool breeze, so it's not too hot. And today is UK Games Expo Eve. The event is tomorrow, so I'm really looking forward to that. But in the meantime, have some parcels to unbox, and from their shape, these are going to be ordinary books, they're not going to be role-playing books, but they are going to be of interest to role players for one particular reason. So let's get these open. So put the knife there. Got is this, which is a copy of The Next 50 Things That Made the Economy by Tim Harford. This is essentially, in 50 Things That Made the Modern Economy, the revolutionary acclaimed book, radio series and podcast. Best-selling economist Tim Harford introduces a selection of 50 radical inventions that changed the world along the way, and entertained us with myriad great stories and revealed some of the most surprising landmarks in our history. Now, in this new book, Harford once again brings us an array of fresh, remarkable, memorable, curious and often unexpected things, inventions that teach us lessons by turns intimate and sweeping about the complex world economy we live in today. From the brick, blockchain and the bicycle to the fire, the factory and farm rising, and from solar PV and the pencil to the postage stamp, this brilliant and enlightening collection resonates, fascinates and stimulates. It is a wonderful blend of insight and inspiration for one of Britain's finest non-fiction storytellers. Now, okay, so a couple of things. First off, why you should be interested in this is in this book. If you're interested at all in history, world history in particular, then this is a good book because it looks at particular objects, tells the story of them, and then tells the consequences of what happened with those objects. And it's looking at things you wouldn't normally look at. So, for example, we have a section on RFID, and that runs to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, basically 4 pages. These are really short chapters, and there's a good reason for this, which I will come to. The other reason is it's written by Tim Harford. Now, that may not be a name you're familiar with. I know certain people will be familiar with it from the role-playing community, because recently he was interviewed on the Grognard Files podcast. Tim Harford is probably one of our most well-known role players who is not part of the hobby. He occasionally tweets about games, not very often, and occasionally writes about them, again not very often. And he always has interesting things to say. And the other thing is generally, it's with the group of players he is part of also has interesting things to generally say as well. So I will put a link down to that podcast episode down below, so you can go and listen to that at your leisure and find out more about the author. Now, you may also recognise the name from listening to Radio 4 in particular, and the ongoing series More or Less, where he deals with statistics from one week to the next. There's also a podcast of that via the World Service, and they're worth listening to because he looks at the use of statistics and explodes myths and explores what they mean and gets at some of the truths, and it's really fascinating listen. But so what about the next 50 things that made the modern economy? Well, back in 2010, Neil MacGregor, who was then head of the British Museum, got together with Radio 4. I did a long-running series of about over 20 weeks of a series called 100 things that, a history of the world in 100 objects. Okay, in basically sort of like in 20 chapters of 5 episodes. Each episode was fitted into a 15-minute slot, and they're still available, and you can listen to those, and they're really fascinating pieces of history about a particular object and its impact and resonance upon the world. Hopefully you can see where I'm going with this. And then, so that got turned into, it's basically a radio series, a podcast, and then it became a book, and then it becomes a bit of a social phenomenon in basically publishing phenomenon in about 2010, 2011, with basically 100 things that blah 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 blah, that things that something world. Okay, so there were a number of little books that did that. Then in 2016, 2017, Tim Harford did a book called basically, I'm going to say, the 50 things that made the economy. He did it as he did radio series, then podcast, and then he did the book. And this is it. This is the book. And then after that, he did another series, which was the next 50 things that made the economy, and that was done in 2019. And again, I don't know if they're still available on Radio 4. It's worth digging, or sounds. It's worth digging around to find them. Again, fit into that 15-minute slot, and they're fascinating listens for about a particular object and its impact upon our history and the world around us. And really quite surprising and interesting. So yeah, and then of course did the book. Now, why have I got these books? Okay, I do want to read them, and it's probably unlikely that I am going to read these copies. I will have to obtain copies of my own, because these are part of a birthday gift for my father, who is going to be 77. So I thought I would pick up these nice hardbacks for basically waiting for them second hand in not reasonable condition, certainly decent enough to give as a gift. And what's great about these is essentially you're talking, it's not dense text, the chapters are quite short, and you find out interesting things, so whether it's on volcanisation, for volcanisation, it's looking at basically the treatment of the of the natives in Congo, and how essentially that became a source of rubber, and the horrific things that went on there, and so on. And basically then we've got things like, history of cellophane. I mean, the thing is, it's a history of things that we now kind of see as everyday objects. Basically again, like the RFID, like today we recognise those as from tags on our clothing. We have to have them removed when we go shopping. Cellophane, we see our food wrapped in it. Recycling, and then it's got a whole section on our robot overlords. Whether it's the Hollerith punch card machine, and these things it's not just things that you just basically accept, but it's things that you've never heard of, like again the Hollerith punch card machine, or things that, again, the gyroscope. The gyroscope, you think how important, you don't necessarily think of how important that is. You think of, okay, the little spinning toy, but it's really important, and this goes into why and what it's used for. Spreadsheets. It's got a section on spreadsheets. Basically an economist's dream, I suppose. But why are they so important? What's their impact? And that's what's so interesting. And so again, chatbot. What's important about that? And again, it's exploring these things from from a point of view, sort of like, what impact has this had upon the world around us? So that's the next 50 things that made the economy. I recommend you find a copy of this. Again, really short chapters, really very easy to digest, and again, interesting. Anyway, If you've enjoyed this unboxing in the Nook, then please do click on the like button down below. And of course, if you've got any comments or feedback, I appreciate those very much. And if you want to be alerted to yet more unboxings in the Nook, in which you will see me sat here with package, book, hopefully most of it role-playing, some of it occasionally not, and finally, nice hot cup of tea. Please hit that subscribe button, okay, and you'll be alerted to more videos of me out here in the back garden. Again, thanks for watching. I'm going to be back again very soon with another unboxing in the Nook. Bye for now.